Hey, what's up guys, my name is KSK. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I will show you how to build a powerful and fastest NAS using a Raspberry Pi 4. This is one of the easiest and simplest guide that anyone can use it to build a NAS server with Raspberry Pi 4. Before starting this video, if you're a new viewer of this channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and consider clicking on bell button to get notified whenever I post a new video. Let's get started. With the increase of gadgets in the home, it's so difficult to store the data safely. Take an example of mine. I have a lot of gadgets in my home like iPhone, iPad, MacBook, PC, and bunch of Android devices. Handling the data on these devices is so difficult for me. This is where I struggled for a while and began researching myself. How am I supposed to solve this issue? Then I got an idea, why not create a solid data center in my home and dump all of my data to the local home server. Of course, I can use Dropbox, Google Drive, and many other cloud services, but I want my personal cloud for my personal computing. That way, I can back up all of my photos and videos from various devices to the home data center so that I can access all of the data in it from any device. This reduces complexity in terms of handling data, and the process can be done using the phenomena called NAS, Network Attached Storage. Building a NAS server is the only solution to this problem. Of course, you do not need to spend $1 million to build a cloud server. All you need is a $35 computing machine called Raspberry Pi. Now in this video, I'll be using the Raspberry Pi 4, which is the latest version from the company. Compared to previous version, the all-new Pi has the fastest and powerful 4-core CPU, a 4 gigs of RAM, and a brand new Giga Bit Ethernet port. If you're having the older Pi, which is a Raspberry Pi 3, this can also work fine. For the sake of demonstration purposes, I will be using the Raspberry Pi 4 to show you guys building the NAS server. Now enough about the theory, let's get into the practical session. The only prerequisites of this video, you need a Raspberry Pi 4 or Pi 3, an external hard drive or SSD. This is where we store the data and can be accessed from any device. As per my testing, you can use up to 4 terabytes of external hard drive. If in case you're using internal hard drives, please make sure to provide enough power supply to run hard drives. Also, you need an Ethernet cable to connect to Wi-Fi router or internet for Raspberry Pi 4. And last but not least, the main one, a micro SD. You need a 16 gigs or higher class 10 SD card to install an operating system for Raspberry Pi 4. That being said, moving on to step number 1, downloading required assets. Now on your Windows computer, open your favorite browser. The first link will take you to this page. Here you need to download a Raspbian stretch image file to install the operating system on Raspberry Pi. There are so many versions available, you can download any one based on your choice. I'm going to choose the big one, that is the Raspbian Buster Desktop. This is a combination of both desktop environment and command line interface. If you want to use desktop user interface of Pi, you can choose this one, or else if you are the one who wants command line interface, you can go with a Buster Lite image file. It's up to you guys which one to choose. Now next up, the second link will take you here. You have to download a software called Balena Etcher, which helps to write the Raspbian image file to SD card. Along with Balena Etcher, you need a SD formatter. This tool will format the SD card properly and prepares in creating a bootable SD card. Now lastly, you need to download Advanced IP Scanner to find the IP address of Raspberry Pi assigned by your Wi-Fi router. Now once it's done downloading all the files from the links in the description, place it somewhere on your desktop for easier navigation. Now go ahead and install SD Formatter, Balena Etcher, and Advanced IP Scanner on your Windows computer. Once it's done, extract the Raspbian zip file. Now after extracting, you will see a brand new Raspbian file with .img extension. Moving on to step number 2, formatting and flashing. Go ahead, take your SD card and connect to your computer. Then open SD formatter and format the SD card. Now open Balena Etcher, then choose select image here and look for the extracted Raspbian image file, and then select the SD card drive letter and flash it. The flashing image process will take some time, so sit back and relax and don't interrupt anything. Once the flashing is complete, eject the SD card and reconnect back to computer. Now open My Computer. Inside here, you will see a drive named boot. Go ahead, open the boot drive, and then highlight the address bar from the top and type cmd to open the command prompt from the current working directory. Now inside command prompt, type echo right angle, then backslash ssh and press the return key. So this command will create a new file named ssh inside the boot folder. This way, secure socket shell will be enabled automatically upon booting the Raspberry Pi. Now once it's done, go ahead, eject the SD card and insert inside Raspberry Pi. Along with that, connect the SSD or external hard drive, Ethernet cable, as well as power supply. Now once everything has connected, turn on the power supply to boot a Raspberry Pi 4. Now if you notice, Raspberry Pi has connected to Wi-Fi router, which means I can wirelessly communicate with my Pi within the same network. That being said, moving to step number 3, configuring NAS. In order to communicate with Raspberry Pi, you need to know the IP address of Pi assigned by your Wi-Fi router. To do so, open Advanced IP Scanner and search between this series. In a few minutes, you will see the Raspberry Pi IP address. Just gonna go ahead, write down this IP address, and using it, we can talk to Pi remotely via SSH. Now open Command Prompt on Windows. If you are using the latest Windows 10 from Microsoft, the SSH command will be readily available to use. If in case you don't find SSH installed in Windows 10 computer, you can use third-party application named PuTTY to remote login into Raspberry Pi. Now inside command prompt, type SSH, then pi, and type the IP address of Raspberry Pi. Now in my case, it is 192.168.0.11 and press the return key. Now accept the authentication by typing yes and type Raspberry as the default password. Keep in mind the default username is Pi and password is Raspberry. Now you can see I have successfully logged into Raspberry Pi remotely. Now get ready, it's time to type many commands. Don't freak out, I will guide you clearly, so watch this video carefully from here. Also, write down commands somewhere on paper, or I will leave the instructions down below the description. You can also check the link in the description for a detailed written article by me if in case you're confused. Anyway, type this command called a sudo apt-get update to update the repositories. Once it's done, type sudo apt-get upgrade to upgrade the system. Now type sudo apt-get install ntfs-3g to add a support for NTFS formatted drives. Then type another command sudo apt-get install exfat-utils exfat-fuse to add a support for exfat formatted drives. So in my case, my SSD is using exfat file system. Then type sudo apt-get install samba-common-bin to install a Samba server and Raspberry Pi. Once it's done, create a new directory inside a root. We can use this directory to mount our SSD. To do so, type sudo mkdir/pi server. This is going to create a folder named pi server inside root. You can name the folder anything you want, but for now I want to make it simple. Now you can see pi server directory has created inside root. Now type sudo chmod 777/pi server to make that folder accessible by everyone. After this command, the folder background color will be changed to green color. Now type lsblk to see the connected drives on their mounting points. If you notice, my SSD is connected as SDA1 and it's not mounted anywhere. To mount the SSD to the folder which I have created inside root, type sudo space mount space /dev/SDA1 and /pi server. After executing this command, the SSD will be mounted to pi server directory. Now type this command to configure Samba. You can use any text editor. In this case, I'm using a Nano to write a few lines to smb.conf file. Now inside this file, come to the bottom and add these lines. Once it's done writing the file, save it by typing Ctrl+O and type Ctrl+X to exit from the text editor. Now you need to create a user to communicate with Raspberry Pi NAS. To do so, type sudo add user. Here you can type your name. A name can be anything. In this case, I will type my name. Then create a user password. Once it's done creating a user, now type this command to set a Samba password for this user. For that, type sudo smb password space -a kscril. This will help to create a Samba password. Keep in mind the user password is used to log in into Raspberry Pi, and the SMB password, aka Samba password, is used to log into NAS Server. You can keep the same user password as Samba password. Now once it's done typing these commands, restart Samba server by typing these commands. Now after that, we need to do a few more steps. Right now, the SSD is mounted to the directory which we have specified, but once you restart your Raspberry Pi, it will unmount automatically. To prevent this issue, type this command and add these lines at the bottom of this file. This helps to auto-mount the connected drives to the specified mounting point. Also, every time rebooting the Raspberry Pi, the IP address will keep on changing. This will cause a problem for many users. To resolve this issue, we're going to set a static IP address for Raspberry Pi. To do so, type this command and write these lines at the bottom of the file. Keep in mind it's a case sensitive, type exactly what you see here. Now in this case, I'm setting 192.168.0.16 as my static IP address for my Raspberry Pi 4. You can set any IP address between these series. Once it's done, save the changes by typing Ctrl+O and exit by typing Ctrl+X. Now reboot your Raspberry Pi 4 by typing sudo space reboot. After that, your Raspberry Pi will have the static IP address, which in case 192.168.0.16. As you can see, IP scanner is showing the IP address which we have assigned. That's it. Now we have successfully created the NAS server with Raspberry Pi 4. Now it's time to connect to your NAS server and see how it works. On your Windows computer, open Control Center, then choose a Network and Internet, then select Network and Sharing Center, and then select Advanced Network Settings, and here enable Network Discovery. This allows Windows to see the networks in the same network. Now open Run dialog box and type // make sure it's a backslashes, and type the address of Raspberry Pi. So which in case it's 192.168.0.16. Now you will see a Raspberry Pi NAS server. Just gonna go ahead, right click on it and map it as a network drive. Now type the username and Samba password to see the contents of the SSD. That's it. Now you have successfully connected to Raspberry Pi NAS from Windows OS. As you can see, reading and writing the data to the NAS server works fine without any errors. Also, we have a mapped network drive, which means you can see the NAS server inside your My Computer. To connect to NAS server on Mac OS, go ahead from the menu bar of Finder, choose Go and select Connect to Server. Now here type smb:// it's a forward slashes, then type the IP address of Raspberry Pi, and then type the login credentials. This is how you connect to the NAS server inside Mac OS. Now to connect to NAS server on iPhone, open Files application and click on three-dot menu from the top right corner and then choose Connect to Server and enter the IP address of your Raspberry Pi, then go ahead and type the login credentials to log into NAS server. Overall, if you notice how flexible the NAS server, as long as if you're on the same network, you can connect to Raspberry Pi NAS from any device and access the data. So this way you can connect to your home server from anywhere around the world, but you need a static public IP address. For that, you have to contact your ISP to get the public static IP address. That's pretty much it, guys. This is how you can build the powerful and fastest NAS server with a Raspberry Pi 4. So if you ask me, it's actually much better than OpenMedia Vault. And anyway, if in case you enjoyed this video, smash the like button down there. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and consider clicking the bell button to get notified whenever I post a new video. Also check the article for detailed instructions down there in the description box down below for more information. So if you have any doubts, comment down below. I will try to answer your queries. So thanks for watching. This has been KSKRIO signing off.
I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right.